roll up, ladies and gentlemen, and witness the end of Battlefield 3. Well, not really. I guess that was a bit dramatic, but nonetheless, Battlefield 3 is pretty much done now. The last DLC has been released, and we're probably not going to get any more patches or updates to the game, unless some sort of horrifying game-breaking bug crawls out of the woodwork and ruins everyone's happy fun time. That'd be bad. And so we look towards the future. Battlefield 4, due for release in fall 2013. As it stands, we've only seen single player footage. And details of the multiplayer component remain scarce at the moment, but think for a second, just imagine, what if you were a designer at DICE? What if you could make the rules? What if you could make the difference? What would you want to see in multiplayer Battlefield 4? And that is what today's video is about, our wish list for Battlefield 4 multiplayer. I'm going to blast out my top 5 wishes for Battlefield 4 multiplayer. Remember, these are just my wants and suggestions. You probably won't agree with all of them, you'll probably not agree with any of them. If you don't, that's okay, it's just my 2 cents. However, your opinion, your top 5 wishes, I want to see that in the comment section below. Let me know what you think Battlefield 4 multiplayer needs, your top 5. I'll have a look at the comments, I'll trawl through them, and I'll make another video in response to this. And that way, hopefully, we can get a good idea for what the Battlefield YouTube community wants for BF4. I think that'd be quite interesting. Right, so let's get into it then. Now, my first one is probably very predictable for the guys that watch my channel regularly, and of course, it's esports support. Now, I think the Battlefield 4 would benefit immensely if it had a properly developed and supported esports mode. Battlefield can be a fantastic esports game, trust me. 5v5 infantry only Battlefield is good. It's very good. It's fun to play in, it's fun to watch, and I think it'd be a great game to commentate on. It just didn't have the right setup for it in Battlefield 3. Now, if BF4 were to have a unique esports mode that's separate from the main game, I think it'd be a brilliant thing. I'm not saying remove the classic Battlefield feeling, because that'd be stupid. Of course, BF4 is going to have the 64 player maps with tanks, jets, helicopters, epic ground battles going on, explosions. It'd be silly to remove all that stuff. DICE are really good at doing that after all. But it'd also be great if we had a separate game mode dedicated to esports. DICE and EA would benefit greatly from this. They could run prize tournaments, they could have live streams of the games, and this would create such a massive buzz for the game, and also a lot of publicity and news about BF4. It's a good idea, trust me. Battlefield 4 needs an esports mode. So what is my perfect esports mode for Battlefield 4? Well, as for game type, I think 5v5 Conquest with 3 flags works best. Also, I've said before on a number of occasions, I think having a CS style search and destroy round based mode with permadeath and 2 bomb sites would also work great on the Frostbite engine. It'd be nice to see DICE experimenting a little with that and maybe pushing into some new territory. Of course, any good esports game needs a spectator mode, but it's got to look good. It needs to be clean, it needs to be intuitive, simple to use for commentators, and also, importantly, it needs to be easy enough for people who don't play the game to understand what's going on. That stuff is very important. Just imagine for a second seeing an epic matchup between 2 of the best Battlefield teams being live streamed and commentated on through Twitch TV or Battlelog. Now that would be cool. Finally, a good esports mode needs customization and communication between the players and developers. It'd be nice to work together with DICE and find a common rule set that the competitive community can agree on and accepts as the standard. Let us tweak suppression, even remove it completely if we want to on esports servers. Let us fiddle around with the ticket counts, bomb timers, kit loadouts, the intensity of the sun and the particle effects, that sort of thing. Please note, I'm not talking about mod tools here. It's just not going to happen. As Lethal Bizzle would say, leave it, yeah. These big AAA first-person shooters just don't do it anymore, and they won't do it. There's just too many factors at play. Publishers' rights, developer rights, money issues. We ain't going to get mod tools for Battlefield anymore, face it. With that said, maybe DICE could give us all of those options in Battlelog instead. Lock it down, they can have their way with it. Finally, if they do have an esports mode, why not have an awesome league/ladder system for it on Battlelog? You know, proper skill-based matchmaking and ranked teams or squads competing in a large league against each other would be awesome. Wishlist number 2, bit short and sweet this one. Battle recorder, it's so obvious, but much harder to implement than a live spectator mode, so I don't know if we will get a battle recorder in BF4. Being optimistic though, having a battle recorder would be amazing, let's face it. All those epic kills and explosions viewable and recordable from any angle that you like. You can watch them in slow motion, you can speed them up. Having a built-in free cam would make a world of difference to me, and especially to the people that don't have recording equipment. Also movie and content creators who like making machinima videos. And I'm not talking about the company machinima, by the way. Machinima is a term used to describe a movie made in a video game. If you didn't know that, well, now you do. But yeah, battle recorder, that would be awesome. And as much as I hate to say it, if DICE want BF4 to compete with the next gen COD games that will undoubtedly have a fantastic recording and playback system, then it needs to have battle recorder. It would just be another tick in the box to say, look, Call of Duty players, we got this feature too, lol. It just makes perfect business sense and customer service. Cool user generated videos sell games. People do epic stuff in video games. They record it, they post it online, people see it, they want to go out and do it themselves, so they go and buy the game. It's a delicious circle of end user happiness and money in the back pocket for the developers and publishers. Number 3 on the list, should Battlefield 4 look at class rebalancing maybe? I think a lot of people would agree with me on this, that the medic / assault class in Battlefield 3 is overpowered. It's got the best guns, it can bring people back from the dead, it's got good equipment like smoke grenades and grenade launchers, it's got a health pack that can effectively keep you and your team alive forever. Seems legit. The Recon class, however, is pretty useless. It needs a massive buff in Battlefield 4. As much as I like the sniper rifles in BF3, it's very hard to be an effective team player as a Recon at the moment. You just don't have that many options. It's just a bit meh, really. Support could also do with a buff. The guns are horribly inaccurate most of the time. C4 is okay for taking out vehicles, but it's pretty dangerous as you've got to get pretty close, and engineers are just way better at doing it anyway. Being honest, I don't have a good solution to class rebalancing in BF4. I haven't had the time to think about it and plan it and put it down on paper. It's a very hard job to do, and I actually feel sorry for the DICE developers that have to figure this stuff out. But yeah, if you think you've got the perfect solution to the class problem, then let me know in the comments. Let's see what it is. But yeah, class rebalancing, it's plain to see that the medic assault class in BF3 is by far the best. Definitely needs looking into, in my opinion. Good job on the engineer class though, DICE. I think that's well balanced, and they've also got Wally, which is always a bonus. Number 4, privacy options. Now this is a big one for YouTubers and streamers, and I'm sure it's affected other people, DICE developers and community managers too. In fact, I know it has. They've told me it has. You know what it is, basically anyone can see what server you're playing on. They can then follow you, they control you, annoy you, team kill you, jump up and down in front of you, pretend they're a duck, just be a general scumbag. Unfortunately, there's no cure for being a cunt, and whilst it's incredibly easy for people to follow anyone that they want to, scumbags are going to be scumbags. You know, if you let it happen, it's going to happen. Recently, this problem has escalated somewhat, and several competitive matches have been ruined by DDoS attacks and hackers targeting them. I know that a few level BF events have been called off because of this. There's also another BF3 YouTuber who's been trying to play competitive games, and he's just been targeted. I've also had some great experiences with it. I start streaming, 10 minutes later I'm being killed repeatedly by a medkit, and then the server gets crashed. GG. It's not just when I'm live streaming either. You know, sometimes I just want to jump on a server, play some games, chill out for a bit. Nope, followed by hackers or people trolling me. I can barely play on my own account anymore. It's pretty much unusable. Changing your name doesn't help either, as your profile has a unique ID and URL. All someone's got to do is bookmark it, and then you're theirs forever. It's a first world problem right there. So yeah, privacy options, let's have them please, DICE. Pretty please, with a cherry on top. That'd be ace. My 5th wish for Battlefield 4 is related to map design. So in BF3, the Rush and Conquest versions of the maps are structurally the same. I think some of the maps work great in both game modes, but some of them certainly do not. Damavan Peak and Operation Metro, for example. Both great maps on Rush, but pretty bad on Conquest. They're far too linear with very few flanks and pretty much only like 3 lanes of attack. That's bad, and more often than not, it just results in a boring grindfest bottleneck at the middle flag. That's not interesting. So instead, why not tailor maps for certain game modes? Change the layout a little bit. You know, you can keep the art style the same, keep the props the same, but maybe change the layout. Let's have rush only maps or conquest only maps. Be specific and clinical with level design. However, I think if DICE decided to do the same thing and just make different variants of the same map as they did in BF3, please look at changing the architecture around to suit the game mode. Just because a map works well on Conquest doesn't mean it works well on Rush. Tailor make the map for the game mode and you'll end up with better flow and better level design. Right, in conclusion, it was pretty hard to come up with my top 5 wishes for Battlefield 4. Of course, there are way more things I'd like to see in BF4. I've got a list of like 60, but I'd be talking for about 6 hours. So yeah, best to keep it to 5 for now, I think. As I said though, let me know your top 5 wants and wishes for Battlefield 4 in the comments. I think it's going to be quite interesting really to see if we can nail down an average top 5 requests. Do it, please rate the video and also think carefully about what you want to see before you type a comment. That's all for today folks. Thanks for watching, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.